Hello, hello. So, not too long ago, Ninjakiwi just dropped a huge announcement regarding the state of Battles 2, and I figured I'd share it with you guys because upon reading it, I think it's the first time in this game's history that I can confidently say that things just might be headed in the right direction regarding this game. So you can see all the changes they have planned briefly over on the screen here. For more in-depth details and explanation why they're doing these changes, we have to go on to the Reddit though, where they posted a roadmap announcement. So let's begin starting at VIP. VIP is no more. So, it used to be a system where you'd pay a certain amount of money per month, or per 3 months to boost the amount of XP you get, and also boost your quest progress for seasons to unlock cosmetics faster. But now you can see they say that the process through which you unlock towers and heroes has changed so much since the launch that many of the benefits of VIP aren't quite as useful as they were before. And rather than trying to force VIP into a system that it wasn't designed for, they decided to retire and replace it with a different product that better suits where the game is now. And what product is that? Well, let's scroll down. If anybody remembers Battles 1, then, well, club memberships are back. And it's pretty much the same system as it was in Battles 1. It's a one-time purchase of just $9.99, and it gets you access to all the special arenas. Bonanza, No Pain No Gain, Play with Fire, etc., which was already the perk of VIP, but the thing is, this is permanent, so you don't have to keep paying money every month just to have access to that. On top of that, this is coming next season, I believe. But this is going to be really exciting. Club members now have the ability to mix and match up to 3 rules and ban specific towers for the first time. So again, even though combo arenas were already a thing in Battles 1, it still is a great addition to add to this game. On top of that, the banning specific towers part seems like a good thing for tournaments that use private battles. Not sure if they plan to add a tournament feature like they did in Battles 1, but it's a good makeshift solution for now, that's all I gotta say. And also to note for this page is that they're also adding clans later this year. So if you have club access, you can create them for free. Otherwise, it'll cost some sort of currency, whether it be in-game, not sure yet, but keep on the lookout for that. Now moving on, Tower XP and Universal XP are also gone. Or actually, it's just Universal XP that's gone, but let's just read in detail first. So since we changed using Monkey Money to unlock tower upgrades, Tower and Universal XP have not had much use beyond unlocking the mastery items. And because of all the increases they made to Tower XP and Universal XP in the past, they made it really easy to unlock mastery items. So now what they're doing is, starting next season, Tower XP will only be earned from playing games so that you cannot get them from events, daily rewards, anywhere else. That's a pretty minor change though, because I think a majority of the Tower XP you get is from playing on the tower itself. Yeah, for now it seems like Tower Mastery items is the only thing to use for Tower XP, but they do have some new features coming for it soon. But this is the huge part. The Universal XP that you get from games is now gone, and it'll just be split upon the end of the season, depending on how much Universal XP you have. Again, the reason for this is that the amount you had was just too plentiful. Like, look at how much I have here. I have 1.2 million Universal XP, and this is from somebody who has not had VIP for many months since Universal XP is released, and also has not played terribly too much. But here I'm just sitting on a bunch of XP because there's nothing to spend it on other than mastery cosmetics. But the thing is, it's not the XP that I'm gated from buying cosmetics. It's actually the amount of monkey money, because, well, they explain more details later, but you can see that there's so many things that cost monkey money now, and I simply just don't have, well, enough. Like, buying all 9 cosmetics of the Dharma here looks like it would be around 3,000 monkey money. But consider the fact that it costs monkey money to unlock a lot of other things in the game, like, well, hero cosmetics as well. Don't forget the season quest. Even though you can get bananas to reduce the amount of monkey money you spend, it's still quite a lot of bananas required to get every cosmetic, so that'll cost you a pretty amount of monkey money. And now you see scrolling down that battle chests are now going to remove next season. This is likely because of the removal of, well, Tower XP and chests, and also the lack of Tower and Universal XP. There's pretty much no use for them, and to compensate, they're increasing the amount of monkey money you gain from playing games, which is huge, because I always thought that the amount of monkey money you get for playing games was very, very low. So now it's 50 for a win, 20 for a loss, and also bonuses for NLL and First Blood, and also adding extra monkey money to casual mode, albeit at a reduced amount. That should more than offset the monkey money lost from opening chests. Speaking of which, yeah, I always thought they were a pretty flawed system. Now, it might be my fault that I have 5,600 battle points stored up, but still, even if I opened every chest I could, I do believe I'd still have some excess battle points laying around. Club events are next. So this is the exact same thing as the mix and matching of the clubs you saw earlier, except this is just the official in-game event, similar to how Battles 1 had it. And honestly, if it ain't broke, then don't fix it, because I thought that model was completely fine in Battles 1 too, so yeah, I don't think anyone would have a problem if the same thing was put in Battles 2, and looks like that's happening too. And again, you don't need to buy club access to play those events. You're just limited to a certain amount per day, which it could be 3 a day. Not sure because it says overtime, but we'll see eventually. And right, because of the removal of VIP, which doubled the amount of bananas you got, and from reading earlier, the club membership doesn't get you the double banana as well. They've added a different purchasable power-up, quote-unquote, in the shop. Now you can get a banana boost for $4.99, and yeah, it basically gives you the same VIP benefit, it seems. And this, I guess, should be expected for most games, but it's good that they kept in mind that if you do buy the banana boost, maybe at the end of the season, you decide only at the end that you want it, well, you still get all the progress that you would have gotten had you gotten this at the start. So again, nothing to complain about here because these are all cosmetics, so it makes sense that, well, it's visuals or things that don't give you a competitive advantage that you can pay for. And last in this post is the clans feature that they mentioned earlier. So again, it sounds like something that would be similar to Battles 1 in that they have their own ranking system, and players can go ahead to get ahead with other clans to reach top of leaderboards and unlock loads of special clan cosmetics. Stay tuned for that later this season. On top of that, they've teased that there is a new hero for Season 14, which would be, well, 2 seasons from now, so probably late summer. Not only that, but it sounds like it might be community voted. More information on that very soon. So yeah, that's the post. After reading it, I don't think I could say anything negatively regarding any of the changes they're about to make, because they all make sense. While I did already think that the XP/tower system was a lot better compared to release, there were, as you can see, many flaws, so it's good that they decided that it should just go all together and create a brand new system that should hopefully make the game easier to enjoy. Speaking of easier to enjoy, while I'm here, I should mention that they actually had an update come out. Not on the changes you saw earlier, but instead balance changes, which I also think are absolutely fantastic. Probably the best balance change update this game has ever had, and the best thing since sliced bread. So what are these changes exactly? Well, stay tuned for future videos, because I'll probably play around with the update. But first off, we want to go to balance changes, where this is not a tower, but it's a tower boost. They've actually nerfed it from 30 to 40 seconds, and their explanation is below. In summary though, this is a good thing for the competitive side of the game, because now you'll be able to exploit your opponent a little bit easier if they use a tower boost at an inopportune time. So this likely will make for some more exciting and faster paced games. Now, Banana Farms got a huge price overhaul. They made a bunch of upgrades from tier 3 and below a lot cheaper, but also nerfed the tier 5s, because it seems like in the recent patch, pure balloon income was far superior to farms in the early game, so you saw a lot of farm players not using farms at all, or using very little farms until the late game. So this will give them more of a window to rush in the early to mid game, while also not allowing them to snowball as crazily in the late game with those tier 5 farms. The next two here are Wizard and Alchemist nerfs. These I think are both needed because Necromancer pretty much dominated the scene ever since the existence of Jericho. Notably, with the full graveyard, Necromancer Wallfire did too much damage. So now it's the same old Wallfire that you're used to with the O2 one. And also Stronger Stim, yeah, it's a little bit too good. Enough said. So they actually buffed Spike Fracture in the last update to give him more damage, but this ended up being a nerf for pre-round 80. If you know how Spike Damage and Pierce interacts with, then yeah. Just simply put, turning a ceramic into a bunch of green balloons is not a good idea in terms of saving spikes on the Spike Factory. So they just changed that damage to attack speed, which means Spike should be better in all situations now. Also for the Tack Shooter, Blaze Shooter, too good early game, but they also didn't want to nerf Maelstrom too much, so they reduced the cost to compensate for that. Fair enough. Now for the Boomerang, I guess Ricochet was already a pretty solid early game, but I guess there wasn't too much going on with the Boomerang, or too much benefits to go on. This I think is a fine buff to give, and it shouldn't make things too overpowered for Boomerang users. Pretty good. And now this is pretty huge. For any mortar users out there, Birdie stuff now affects Black and Zebras, but only the fire, not the on hit. Otherwise, that would be a little bit too broken. But yeah, nothing to complain about with that. Again, I'm going through these changes fairly briefly, just because Ninjakiwi has already explained a lot of the rationale for us, or for me, with these notes here, so I'm just gonna keep it pretty brief. So, Triple Dart and Quick Shots got a price cut, and Fan Club, you can use more than 10 of them at once. Not sure how much this is going to change things, because I feel like getting more than 10 darts is a hassle, especially while in the middle of being rushed, but this could help. Maybe get you out of those sticky situations if you do have enough time to build a bunch of Dart Monkeys up. This next change is pretty interesting. Elite Defender now doesn't need to lose lives to trigger the attack speed buff. And also they buffed the supply drop because it was a little bit too weak compared to Farms and Bloon Eco last update. Yeah, EDF should be a pretty good option now for those mid-game, late-game rushes. Moving on, Monkey Sub got a bit of early-game buffs, which is needed because, yeah, Sub is a really rough early game on its own, from what I've played with. Druids have been made to be more consistent, which is good because relying on RNG in a competitive game is always a bit sus. So on top of that, they've buffed the Druid income and the Druid the jungle cost. Same rationale as with the Sniper. Also, the Village got a bit of a buff to the early. It's always rough having to spend 3k or more for camo, so this $300 buff is very appreciated. Same with the $500 cut to MIB. And also to compensate, Call Arms, a little bit of nerf. I'm surprised that Sentai and Captain Churchill is getting nerfed. I thought Captain Churchill was already, well, not that great. Sentai outclassed by Jericho, which you'll see got nerfed down below. But I'm not sure I can speak too much on it because I haven't played, honestly, with Sentai very much in the recent updates. So lastly, there's some huge changes to Jericho. First of all, Seize assets gives you a little bit less money, which is needed, because he definitely took too much. When a guy holding a pistol makes more money than a hacker, then you know something's up. They also buffed the decoy, because that was a pretty useless ability, not gonna lie. So maybe with these changes, there's a bit more uses to them. Also to highlight, there's been a bit of a bug fix. Apparently, they were not meant to give you that many camo balloons with balloon adjustment early game, so they nerfed that. And that was much needed, because yeah, adjustment camo was just broken, and you'd be screwed if you didn't have, you know, a loadout that couldn't see camo until round 12. Anyway, same nerfs with Highwayman Jericho to the money and the fortified multiplier, and that's pretty much it for the balance changes. Again, these are already live, so you can play with the mid-season patch right now. And I know I sure will, because, again, I could not find anything wrong with this update. Every change they made makes sense, and they didn't, like, be too cute and not just make minor changes. These are pretty significant buffs on a lot of the lesser used towers. So yeah, just one more thing before I go that I didn't quite see in the roadmap was their plans towards competitive scene. If you heard me complain time and time again, I've been complaining about this 9 months ago, and I'm still complaining about it to this day. And that the leaderboard system is still heavily flawed. So let's take this for example. This is a leaderboard of the current Battles 2 Hollow Masters, thanks to Uno for the resource. It shows that right now there's 253 players in Hollow Masters. And the thing is, when you make Hollow Masters, your default score is automatically 3,500, which would put you in about the top quarter of all players. And again, that's simply by just having made it to Hollow Masters and not having played a game. So if you win a game, then automatically you're up into the 60s. And if you lose a game, then, well, you still catapulted in the top half because your default score is so high compared to other players. And this is especially a problem because the most optimal way to get a rank you don't deserve is by waiting till last minute, joining Hollow Masters on the last day, and just finishing at around 3,500 score because there's not enough time for, or games for your score to fluctuate. And let me just highlight that the same thing happened last season too. There were 532 players, 3,500, the default score was 119. As you can see, here's me at 104, having played only 3 games I think in Hollow Masters last season. I made sure to abuse the system as hard as I could, and I got rewarded for it. So yeah, that's really the only thing I can complain about really with this. Hopefully they do have plans to make the system more fair, because right now, it's really annoying where a lot of players can undeservingly get a higher rank just by not playing, or stalling their rank, including myself. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on all these changes below. This is a lot of info to soak in from those 2 posts, so I hope you didn't mind the news video today. I usually don't make, again, videos on news. Most of the time you can find it on the same channel. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. But yeah, again, I think this is huge news, and I think it's worth sharing. In case you guys quit earlier because of certain reasons, and possibly these are the perfect fix for ya. Once again, stay tuned for coverage of the mid-season update, and yeah, I'll see you guys in another video.